Oh, that's not good. Algernon. Well,
Where's the bookseller?
he's dead with his head twisted off. At least he's got tons of copies of California and Alaska. Must be a hot cellar. Why are there bones on the floor? What is this? Oh.
An old diary.
Diary of the Pastor's Wife, Volume 4. I must have missed a few. The pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to this voice in his head because it holds the truth. So I've already missed a couple of these. That's a shame. Hello? Astronomy? Huh. You sure this is a bookstore? I'm not so certain. The History of Darkwater, Volume 4. In the 19th century, as the American whaling industry reached its peak in the rest of the world, whales gradually disappeared from the waters surrounding Darkwater. This phenomenon appears even more mysterious because up until then the region was favored refuge for cetaceans, probably because you were hunting them. In 1847, after months of pursuit, Scylla returns to port with a gigantic creature on board. Not a whale, a creature. Its crew asserts that the sea monster had eaten all of the disappeared whales. After a night of ferocious combat, the survivors managed to drag the beast onto the whaling ship. Interesting. And then they ate it, and everybody turned into fish people. That's what I'm betting on. Oh. Hello? Linguistics? Theology and mythology. History of Darkwater, Volume 2. A Puritan colony led by Reverend John Wycliffe settled on the island during the 17th century. Spelled wrong. They named the island Darkwater because of the dark shades of the sea. They believed it was because of the peculiar color of the rocks surrounding the island. They erected the first buildings, among which were the Hawkins Manor, the church, and the cemetery, which is not in fact a building. The rare documents and handwritten notes they spoke of nightmares and deviant behaviors. What kind of deviancy? They disappeared at the beginning of the 18th century. So we had the original tribe, the Puritan tribe, and then this whaling colony. Or town, rather. Oh, dirigibles. Hello?
What happened here?
Okay.
Let's start over. Where did they break in from?
Well, here, by the looks.
Blood. Seems like amateur work.
Yeah, you always wrap your hand before you do that. But it was somebody strong enough to punch through glass, we know that. That narrows it down a little.
Someone tall left this footprint. A man, probably. This burglar seems to be rather clumsy.
He knocked something off here. But why? What's he after? In a bookstore.
What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene?
Somebody who's not planning on coming back.
What killed all these animals?
What are these? Cicadas? Rats? Cockroaches? See, there's a pretty painting.
What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work?
An elder sign. I wonder if Charles Hawkins, Mr. Squid Monster, came in here for something and he was warded off by the elder sign.
What the? Charles Hawkins?
Yeah.
Looks like the symbol rejected Hawkins.
Yeah.
Where did I see it?
In the asylum.
What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess?
What were you hiding? Ugh.
Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe.
The Necronomicon. When your guesswork knocks you down. I can barely see.
Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
This thing is about to boil over, whatever's happening. Okay.
Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
Oh, okay. If somebody finds these memoirs, there will be no doubt I am in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in this plane of reality, in order that they be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother, if she is still in this world. The following message is of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as the celebrated author says, order is the pleasure of reason, but disorder is the delight of the imagination. Indeed, despite my preferences for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails to the end. If by chance a person, or should I say genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination of the safe, I was asked that they deliver its contents into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague, Professor Armitage of the Mistotonic University. Oof. The content of this safe is not only a vast digest of knowledge, but is also a weapon. It is far too dangerous for it to fall into the wrong hands. I hope you will be able to appreciate the danger that it represents, and you will act accordingly. In any event, I will neither be there to guide nor to suffer from your actions. Okay, the doobly-doo is going off. Hang on. Oh, there it is.
What a strange amulet. I have a feeling I'd better not touch it.
An amulet in the shape of a dog. What kind of dogs are you hanging out with? The pendant is in the shape of a large dog. I don't know what it represents, but I might find out more by searching the bookstore. Occultism has gone up. Oh, I have 4 CP. Let's jack investigation. Oh, 1 more needed. There we go. Are we going to get everything to 100? That kind of makes the game arbitrary, doesn't it? I need 1 more. Okay. Back. Alright. Okay, the doobly-doo's done blinking. What else we got? Handbook of Anatomy and Dissection, Book 1. The least that can be said about this book is that its title is well conceived. The illustrations of human anatomy and dissection methods are illustrated in great detail. You have to have a strong heart or the detachment proper to doctors to consult its pages. Alright, medicine is at 40. I feel like we're doing pretty good with the finding medical texts. I am stuck. I'm stuck. I can't move. What's... Now I'm not stuck. Don't tell me I was stuck to that piece of paper. Weird. Nothing.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills?
That's what I said.
What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
That's an elder sign. Sold for $2,053 in 1920. Jesus Christ. The Kegley Museum of Egyptian Wonders closes its doors. Ah, that's why it was for sale. This key that bears the elder sign is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of a cylindrical medallion hanging at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch, whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones, were engraved at its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from its last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer. In press cuttings that mention the misdemeanor, the date of the robbery coincides with the last of Hawkins's trips to Cairo. It remains to be seen whether he knows of the true purpose of the artifact. Try to find it. Great. The Key of Relaya. Great. Okay, so what did that thing say again? Clues. It was where did it go? It's in my stuff. Hang on. Inventory. Each cylinder is numbered as if celebrated author says. So Greek stuff was over here. Mythology. The Breviary of Medicine, Volume 3. Okay, I'm not going to read those anymore. They are all saying pretty much the same thing.
The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on the same footing as a religion.
Occultism. So we're up to what, 40 now? 35? Hello.
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
That's 2 and 3. And he had a phonograph somewhere. I don't remember where. I think, or did they just go into the safe? Oh, I can hear it whispering to me. Hang on, let's check our inventory. Okay. Okay, a cylinder meant to be listened to by a phonograph. Okay, Stu, where is his phonograph? Oh, jeez.
Arkham editions. Never heard of him.
Azathoth and Other Horrors. The collection of poems by Edward Pickman Derby, also known as The Nightmare Lyrics. This collection of poems was sensationally received when first published in 1908. Derby was also only 18 years old. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on the esotericism and the supernatural.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
The Key of Solomon. I've seen that book before. A book of spells supposedly written by the legendary King Solomon. It contains various rules and rituals. This volume is a part of the Arkham Anthology.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Opera in 8 Acts by so-and-so, an infamous lyrical work published in Italy in 1768. The opera was performed only once, resulting in an audience rioting that left several dead and missing. This volume is a part of the anthology.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
The Prophecies, a collection of long-term astrological prophecies written in verse. Written by Nostradamus, translated. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology.
How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Things That Should Not Be, a collection of essays on American folklore and urban legends.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
Corpus Hermeticum, collection of texts on different beliefs that was written by a legendary philosopher.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
Isis Unveiled, Esoteric Philosophy, a key text in Madame Blancy's Theosophical Movement. Well, let's find the phonograph, and maybe one of those will be important. So was it in here? He's got to have a phonograph in here. Am I blind? I don't. I might be blind. Phonograph. Or do I have to leave? Is there a phonograph somewhere else? Alchemy. That's funny. Am I just walking by it over and over? I can't be this dense. I just can't be. Do I leave? No.
Things are not looking good. Things are not looking good.
The White King is missing. Interesting.
A kind of chalice.
This goblet seems to be very ancient. It seems to be made of gold and decorated with real precious stones. Do the rubies and sapphires make up a specific motif? Ah, God. How am I so freaking... Okay, let's try the first one. Listen.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
Okay.
The chalice of knowledge.
Am I supposed to count the number of stones, or... Is there a number inscribed on it?
The Chalice of Knowledge.
Because it won't let me look at the top or the bottom. There's rubies, sapphires, and emeralds. The safe only goes 1 to 9, so I'm not sure what. Let's look at the others.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
How many white pieces are on the board? 4.
The Queen has little protection.
So the second number I'm guessing is 4 or 3.
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Okay, so it's something 3-9. Let's try that. Or something 4-9. Let's try. Okay. How do I... Um... 3... 9... 1? No. 2, 3. 4. 5. There we go. I don't know how that chalice says 5, but here we are. Don't read it. What do you got there? Ugh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, jeez. Well, that can't be good. And we're back to the Institute.